A necessary evil examining moments when violence reshaped history. The French Revolution, a bloody, chaotic period. Yet, from the ashes of monarchical oppression rose a new era of liberty and equality. The American Civil War, a brutal conflict that tore the nation apart, ultimately led to the abolition of slavery. The fight for Indian independence, punctuated by acts of both peaceful resistance and violent struggle, ultimately freed a nation from colonial rule. These events force us to confront a difficult truth. Sometimes the path to a better world is paved with bloodshed. For every revolution that ushered in a new era of freedom, countless others have ended in tyranny and oppression. The question remains, when does violence transition from a tool for change to an engine of destruction? The high cost of revolt case studies in violent uprisings. The Haitian Revolution, a beacon of hope and liberation for enslaved Africans, offers a poignant example of the multifaceted nature of violent resistance. Haiti emerged as the first nation founded by former slaves, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dared to fight for their rights. Yet this victory came at a steep price. Years of brutal conflict decimated the island nation, leaving deep scars on its social fabric and economic development. A more contemporary example lies in the Arab Spring uprisings. Sparked by a yearning for democracy and an end to oppressive regimes, these protests spread like wildfire across the Middle East and North Africa. While some nations witnessed relatively peaceful transitions of power, others descended into chaos and civil war. The Syrian civil war, a direct consequence of the Arab Spring, stands as a chilling reminder of the potential for violence to spiral out of control. When push comes to shove, self-defense and the justification of force. The right to self-defense is a fundamental principle enshrined in legal systems and moral codes worldwide. When confronted with an imminent threat of harm, individuals are often granted the right to use force to protect themselves and their loved ones. However, the line between justifiable self-defense and excessive force can be blurry. When does the fear of potential harm justify the use of violence? The legal concept of reasonable force attempts to address this ambiguity. Yet, in the heat of the moment, fear and adrenaline can easily cloud judgment, leading to actions with unintended and tragic consequences. The decision to wage war, even in the name of self-defense, carries immense weight and the potential for catastrophic consequences. The potential for unintended consequences, collateral damage, and the perpetuation of violence demands a cautious and measured approach. Section 4. The Moral Quagmire. Wrestling with the ethics of violence. The ethical implications of violence are complex and deeply unsettling. Most moral frameworks, whether religious or secular, view violence as inherently wrong, a violation of the sanctity of life and human dignity. Yet, even the staunchest pacifists often struggle with the moral dilemmas posed by certain situations. What about the use of force to prevent a greater evil? Is it morally justifiable to stand idly by while innocent lives are being lost? Even within the framework of just war theory, however, the moral complexities persist. Ultimately, the decision to resort to violence, even in the face of seemingly justifiable circumstances, often comes down to a deeply personal moral calculus. Section 5. A less violent future? Exploring alternatives to force. In an ideal world, violence would be an artifact of the past, a relic of a less enlightened era. While the complete eradication of violence may seem like an impossible dream, there are numerous avenues for promoting peaceful conflict resolution and reducing the reliance on force. Diplomacy and dialogue, though often slow and painstaking processes, remain the most effective tools for resolving conflicts without resorting to violence. The power of nonviolent resistance, as demonstrated by figures like Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr., should not be underestimated. By creating a more just and equitable society, we can reduce the grievances that often fuel violence and create an environment where peaceful coexistence is possible. Section 6. The Enduring Legacy. Violence and its lasting impact on humanity. Violence, in its various forms, has been a constant companion throughout human history. From the battlefields of ancient empires to the streets of modern cities, the shadow of violence continues to loom large, shaping our world in profound and often tragic ways. The legacy of violence is etched into our collective memory, passed down through generations in the form of historical narratives, cultural norms, and personal trauma. The scars of violence, both physical and psychological, can linger for generations, fueling cycles of hatred, fear, and mistrust. Yet, amidst the darkness, there are also glimmers of hope. The human capacity for empathy, compassion, and forgiveness offers a counterpoint to the destructive power of violence. The challenge before us is to learn from the mistakes of the past and build a future where dialogue, understanding, and respect for human dignity prevail.